Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. My name is Zach, otherwise known as Pulpy Syntax, and today's been a bit of a day really. Did some hard work. I got some projects off the ground. I'm successful in what I'm doing, so that keeps me happy. I'm working hard, but the hard work is paying off, so that's nice. How are you? I'm so used to going live now that it's more of a conversational tone than it is a me versus the camera. But I guess it's always me versus the camera. Anyway, not the discussion we're having today. Today, we will be reacting to and kind of looking at Miss Foodie Beauty, Miss Chantal Marie's Popeyes Cajun Fish Mukbang Canada. Now, normally I don't react to a straight mukbang in a sit-down fashion. This video is a little particular in that I felt it worthwhile to sit down and have a chat about it, right? And that's what we're here to do. We're here to have a discussion. We're not here to bully. We're not here to hate. We're not here to make fun. It's not what we do. We sit here and we have discussions about the filmed, edited, monetized, uploaded YouTube content that we consume. Now, the reason why I wanted to have a discussion about this video is because there are elements in this video that discuss mental health, right? There are discussions in this video surrounding mental health. Now, I would like to make a couple of disclaimers. The first of which, I am not a physical or mental health care professional. I am simply reacting to and responding to the content that I consume as an audience member. Now, do I have a background in media knowledge? Yes. Do I understand narratives in the way that they kind of work in media form? Yes, I do. I do not have a specialization or an education focused on health at all. I am, however, a dude who lost some weight on the internet. So, and continues to. So, a lot of the discussions that are in this video, I had to look into more so, and surprisingly, even on just a base level Google search, for instance, I was able to find case studies linking mental health and diet together. I was able to find a lot of discussions about this topic, and I thought it particularly prevalent in regards to this mukbang in particular, because mood and mental health are discussed throughout this. That being said, also, if discussions surrounding depression and mental health is a difficult thing for you to sit through, perhaps this content may be not good for you, in which case I have absolutely no problem if you need to click off right now. If you would like to sit down and listen to this conversational and discussionary content, feel free. With all of that being said, I guess let's get into the video. Hi team, Editing Zach here. It seems like while I was recording, a community post went out. So we're going to read that. Just under an hour ago, Miss Foodie Beauty has posted the following. Hey guys, 4 a.m. here in cold Canada. I have a diary, but I've never opened it, so I'm going to talk to you guys. I'm waiting until the poutineery, I didn't know that was a word, open so I can get a large poutine and and take you guys along for a nice drive. I haven't had a therapy session in like 3 weeks because I mixed up my calendar dates. I'm already sick of OnlyFans, even though in only 3 days I made $1,000. I don't like messages asking me for nipples and farts. I feel as sexual right now as a cactus. What isn't even is my life right now? Many question marks and exclamation marks and crying emojis. So before we get into the previously recorded video, I guess I should mention a couple of things here. In the recorded video, my assumption was that therapy had kind of been a continuous ongoing thing. Turns out, not had a session in 3 weeks. Maybe the toolbox not as full as I originally thought. The discussion about OnlyFans is interesting. The particular discussion about the monetary line of conversation I don't find particularly interesting or relevant. Oh goodness, there's a spider on my camera. One moment. No stress, just a baby jumping spider. Totally fine. He'll get bigger, but I think he's gone for now. This is an interesting post. I mean, did anyone assume that she would stay on OnlyFans for a long time? Probably not. My hot take on it was that, like, girl, get it if you can. Just be safe and healthy about it in both physical and mental capacities. But it seems that perhaps the pressure of, like, specific content asking is just a little bit too much. I don't know whether or not it's the attention or the effort. We'll leave that up to a discussion down in the comments below. But with all of that being said, let's get back to where I should have been. Bye. Now, as always, we are sped up to 1.25 times speed. And here we go.
Hello, Foodie Beauty.
Hello. Hey guys, I know today was supposed to be a time warp video. I'll explain the details in this video. Thanks so much. I was looking forward to the time warp. I have some thoughts on what I would like to present during the time warp. Ooh, that's a little bit bumpy. Present during the time warp because you know I love a costume. So I am upset that today wasn't a time warp. We'll get it eventually, and that's okay. Instead, today's just a straight up mukbang, and we'll get into it.
Pickle, like dill, goes so well with fish.
I agree. Dill absolutely goes really well with fish. I am not going to be made hungry at all. I've just finished dinner. I had a wonderful mushroom and broccoli fry up with some chicken. It was delicious. This will not make me hungry.
You want some Popeyes? You can't have Cajun catfish. It'll give you spicy poops.
Already, he's getting ready to jump. I just started my video. He wants something. You can't have any. No.
Okay, look. I say cats on the counter in every single video. I probably don't need to say it anymore, and that's absolutely fine. It's fine. I'll preface a lot of this conversation with, I have never had Popeyes. Popeyes, from memory, there may be one Popeyes store in Sydney, maybe, which is not where I'm located, but I have never tried Popeyes, never had Popeyes. I hear good things. It sounds like it's delicious chicken. This is not chicken, this is fish. I probably won't have a lot to say in regards to the food of it all.
Oh,
That being said, I definitely did a calorie count, and it is here.
welcome back to another video. Today I have Popeyes, because someone made me very hungry for Popeyes. Alright, there we go.
Who
Alright,
was that?
so let me show you what I got. It's come to my attention that in the US, you guys have a new thing called Cajun fish. So,
Just to bring it back to me, I don't eat a lot of fish. I have like tins of tuna as kind of like backup protein, but I don't have a lot of fish in my diet. I do try to introduce it into like 1 day a week, sometimes push it to 2, something like a nice salmon fillet. But I just find chicken easier to cook, so oops.
I don't know if it's the same,
Tin of
but
tuna,
we've
though.
had this in
Love
Canada
that.
for like ever. Ooh, that looks really good, actually. I got a mac and cheese as my side.
Uh-huh.
You get 2 sides. It's the platter meal. And the mashed potatoes and gravy are so good. The Cajun gravy is amazing. I also got...
I had to think for a moment. She mentions that this is a platter meal, and I was just like, wait, like a platter for 2? I don't understand a platter for 1 in the lexicon of food terminology. Also, in terms of like a combo meal, as we would call it, it would be like a side, a main, or like the fish, I suppose, or a burger, or like a couple of pieces of chicken, and a beverage. 2 sides seems strange to my Australian mind. But anyway.
Strawberry cream cheese pie for desserts.
Oh, and a dessert,
Oh, yeah.
of course.
Oh, yeah.
Had a bit of trouble
yeah,
finding
yeah.
that one on MyFitnessPal, actually.
I'll put that here. And a nice tea, which they give me a huge one, which I didn't ask for, but I appreciate it, Popeyes. Thank you.
That was a lot of pausing on my part. My apologies. I was trying to find a natural break in the conversation. I have never, in my history of eating takeout, which it was not every day, but it wasn't... it wasn't like super infrequent, I guess, like during my university and like late teenage years. Probably a couple of times a week. I couldn't really afford it, but like a couple of times a week I would scrape by. I have never received an upgrade by mistake. I have never ordered a medium and received a large. I feel like I've missed out. I do not have any of the luck that Chantal seems to have when it comes to ordering food. Also, unsure what the dessert options are for Popeyes. I couldn't find a lot in there. I was able to pull up their menu for Canada, surprisingly. That wasn't locked behind a VPN, so that was nice. But I couldn't find this particular dessert. I could, however, find something similar. It was an apple pie, I think. So MyFitnessPal did have this raspberry cheesecake thing. I'm unsure if it's still available or if it's only available in select places, but this looks like a McDonald's apples to apples. It looks like a McDonald's apple pie to me. So I'm sure it's hot. It's likely hot, but yeah.
The guy must have a crush on me.
Although cheesecake, you wouldn't think it'd be hot.
And I apologize,
Maybe it's not
guys.
hot.
I always forget that I'm about to do my video, and I kind of underestimate the time that my dishwasher takes to cycle. So my dishwasher is cycling right now. So you might hear that. I apologize.
Yep, I can hear that.
Let's open
It's
a
like a
black
hose
ranch.
running.
That's my favorite.
I took when I did this MyFitness, because I've watched this video a couple of times just for posterity, because again, I'm not a big fan of the mukbangs, and I was like, how much of this do I need to speak over? How much of this is food for thought, ironically? But when I looked at one tub of this, or one cup as they call it, of this ranch sauce, 118 calories. 118 calories for a cup of sauce. That's wild to me. Anyway, because like I use fat-free mayonnaise, which admittedly isn't good because it's got carbs in it. Well, to like balance out the fats, but we're not here to discuss carbs. But like a tablespoon of that mayonnaise is like between 20 and 30 calories, I think. So like, what, at 2 tablespoons, if you used a mayonnaise that was fat-free, you would be using a third of your calorie intake? I don't know. She's clearly not counting calories, and at this stage, I don't think she cares about her diet at all, because everything's intuitive. So we'll just have to continue.
It's like a Cajun ranch sauce. So let's, you know what? Let's try a bite of this pie because we're adults. We can eat dessert first. Eat a bite.
I mean, we can. I guess, like, taste is all subjective in the discussion. I do not particularly enjoy the idea of dessert first. I think dessert is literally the treat, right? Like, dessert is the course afterwards. So you've had your savory, salty, delicious main. You sit down and you appreciate your dessert for the treat that it is, for the sweet flavors. Maybe finish off with some cheese for supper. That's just me, though. For me, I would not have this fried raspberry strawberry cheesecake pie before jumping into a whole lot more beige that's laid out on the table like this. And just looking at the palette, I'm like, where is the green? It's always a question of where is the green. There is not a lot of green in this mukbang, sadly. Did we get a beauty bite? I don't think we got a beauty bite. That doesn't look good.
It's warm.
To me. Oh, it is warm.
Cheesecake.
Okay. Warm cheesecake, though. Not for me.
You guys like my gummy worm earrings? I got these.
Correct me if I'm wrong, historians. Does Amber have the same pair of earrings? Do I feel like Amber bought this pair of earrings as well? Or am I misremembering? Am I crossing the streams of history?
And I ordered a whole bunch more earrings from this artist, Creationsxcourtney. She makes small batch homemade earrings. They're so cute. I love them. I love them, love them, love them. So check her out if you want to order some. She has an Etsy shop. I'll put her name for her Instagram here, so you can check her out if you want. And yeah, there's so many more cute earrings on the way, so you'll be seeing a lot of those.
I feel like I mentioned this before. It must have been Foodie that I was talking about and not Amber. So maybe I am misremembering. But I just remember seeing these earrings and thinking, as someone who has previously been, who has previously been morbidly obese, you could not pay me to wear food-themed clothing, to wear food-themed accessories. Like, I wanted, so much so that I wouldn't eat in front of people. And if I did, it was a very, very small amount to hide the fact that I was eating, 2 kilos worth of pasta at 3 a.m. in my bed. So you couldn't, my association with food at my biggest had a lot to do with public shame. So the idea of wearing a food-themed item of clothing or an accessory, makes me uncomfortable. So I don't understand this. I don't understand it. I'm probably reading too much into it. Absolutely. That's kind of what I do. But yeah, I could never. Also, I'm highly considering getting my ears pierced. That's just a story about me. Also, I did check the description box on this video and she didn't link the creator of these earrings, so I'm going to do it in mine because there's going to be a little bit more to the description box in this one. There's some cute stuff in there that's not food themed, so anyway.
A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. All right, let's have some biscuit and ranch
Salt
sauce.
to fast food.
Buttery, flaky.
Food.
I bet you can smell it.
I wouldn't.
I can smell food, even if it's on screen.
It's an interesting statement. I didn't catch this until the last watch through. Spoilers, I've watched this 3 times. And by watched, I mean listened to mostly, because it's interesting to start having conversations about the topics, regardless of whether or not I'm reacting to it. It's just oh, that's an interesting thing for a content creator to say about food. That's an interesting thing for a content creator to say about food. I do not believe I have ever watched content and been able to smell it, even recreate the smell in my imagination. I was about to say imaginary. In my imagination, I haven't been able to do that. So that's it's just an interesting statement.
Dip it in the ranch. You have to try it. I don't like the pink one in honey.
Okay, I love honey. I absolutely love honey. And it makes me upset that I can't have it as much as I would like to. And that's okay. Biscuits are not an Australian thing. They're not. Generally, if we go to somewhere like KFC, you'll get something like a dinner roll, which is a bready thing. So I don't have a lot of experience with biscuits. I have been asking in regards to the biscuits whether or not dipping biscuits in ranch is a thing. I also looked up recipes to see if there are some recipes that have a biscuit recipe with a ranch flavoring to the dough when you cook it, which kind of makes sense, but dipping it in the ranch seemed strange, especially when you have something like gravy there. Or you could just cut it open, do it an open-faced sandwich with the with the macaroni and cheese. Just thinking about that made me seem oh god, just the amount of carbohydrates that I would destroy if this was in front of me. Interesting. Oh, also just realizing I have captions on for this one. I can't remember if there was a particular reason for that, but I feel like that was.
For block and ranch. They didn't have tartar sauce in the sauces online.
I think the reason why I put captions on for this video was because there were some pieces of audio or conversation that I am still not 100% sure if what I think I'm hearing is correct. So the captions kind of help when there's a lot of eating going on camera.
So
buttons. I got that one.
I'm gonna try the fish. It's a bit soft, so I'm gonna use my fork.
Soft fish is good. You don't want
It's like a fish. I don't know.
firm,
Is it
dry
catfish?
fish.
What kind of fish is it? Dunk it in.
I took about 3 minutes to pull up what kind of fish it was, and I believe It is mouth-watering Alaskan whitefish, served with our creamy tartare sauce, crispy fries, and a buttery biscuit. Now, she didn't receive the tartare sauce, but there's plenty of ranch there, so anyway.
Beauty bite.
Okay.
Not bad.
Cool. It's fish.
Nice and crunchy.
I prefer grilled fish over fried fish. Currently, that's just me. Like if I do a salmon, I'll grill it or I'll pan-sear it.
Tastes very nice.
I haven't had whitefish for a while, actually.
Would be better with
apart from
tartar.
tuna.
I have mayonnaise
Okay.
and
It's a
dill,
lot of sauce.
pickle, relish.
Relish, yeah.
So let's see how this turns out. Does that know what tartar sauce is? Mayonnaise
It isn't, it isn't.
and relish?
It isn't, it isn't. Like, in a pinch, I feel like you could absolutely serve relish and mayonnaise blended together as like a quick alternative to a tartar sauce. Tartar or tartare? Tartare is the beef. Tartar sauce. Like, I would love to see some fresh herbs in this. I would love to see some garlic, some capers. But you know, this is absolutely an adequate tartar sauce. Tartar sauce in a pinch. If you
Let's
ask.
see. I think it's usually sweet relish, but I don't have any of that because
Like a little bit of
I'm
mustard,
more of a dill pickle fan
Dijon,
myself.
salt, pepper,
Could use a bit more pickle.
dill,
There we
lemon
go.
juice,
Here
mayonnaise.
we go. Made my
think
own
that's
tartar
right.
sauce. So we're gonna dip it in that with the biscuit.
I just can't with this biscuit and ranch. I don't understand. I don't understand it mostly because I have never had ranch. I've never tried ranch. I have never made ranch. So I don't know what ranch is supposed to taste like. But okay.
And the ranch. Let's have mac and cheese. Love mac and cheese.
That mac and cheese does not look good either. It looks dry.
That's good.
I don't think it is.
That's good. Get back here.
No. Oh,
How dare you?
look. I know I said it already. I know I say cats on the counter all the damn time, but like if you drop a piece of food on a dirty surface, like be kind to yourself and don't eat it because germs. There. Especially if it's a service that
Alright, so
consistently
As you
has
know,
animals on
supposed
it.
to do a time warp today. Okay. I am sincere in apologizing for those of you who were looking forward to that video.
I was actually looking forward to that content. Not the food portion of it, just like the time warps and like the themed videos are always kind of fun. Like there always seems like there's a little bit more effort put into it, which I enjoy. Like if I reflect back on previous time warps / themed mukbangs, like I really liked the Titanic one. I thought that was really cool because there were elements of cooking involved in it, which was awesome. The 80s one I didn't particularly enjoy, but that was okay. Wasn't there was a Flower Child 60s one, I think. That was kind of fun. Yeah, anyway.
Really going through some stuff. And I really have to learn. And a lot of you viewers have warned me about this, regular viewers, longtime viewers, because you see a pattern with me, you know what I'm like.
Yeah. I'm like I say it quite often. I'm not a long time viewer of Foodie. I've watched her content for the last 12 months. And her and Amber's content inspired me to treat myself better, essentially. So weight loss was one of those bigger elements to all of that. Yeah.
I'm not really well mentally a lot of the time. That's better. Mm-hmm. Pickle, like dill, goes so well with fish.
It's her conversation to have, so it doesn't really matter. But as an audience member, I just wish that like the train of thought would continue as opposed to being completely derailed by telling us how good the makeshift tartar sauce and this fish, like,
You know?
straw there.
The time warp will happen. I just have to stop announcing and promising things.
That's a particularly difficult conversation to have because the last couple of days she's been saying how she's doing a schedule and she's going to, like, you know, clean certain places of her household on particular days, and she had everything kind of lined up, and it's like, it's really good to set schedules in that regard, but when you announce it to your audience, there is kind of an expectation that you will have an element of follow through, which is not everybody's strong suit, which is fine. But yeah, ultimately, if you are going to plan on a schedule and then just announce it to your very large platform, yeah, it can be kind of tricky when things fall apart.
Because I don't want to disappoint people. I won't.
I mean, ultimately, am I disappointed by there not being a time walk mukbang? Not really. I guess disappointed would be correct in saying that I'm disappointed that instead of a time walk mukbang, we got this mukbang, I guess. And I am disappointed in that I don't get to see Chantel's creativity in doing a time warp. But ultimately, it's still eating on camera, and that's you know, that's the thing that I don't enjoy, but that's okay.
So,
But
I just have to be, like, just sitting here eating doesn't take as much effort.
yeah,
Not that I'm not willing to put in the effort, it's just that I just don't have it in me. Like, I don't you might not see behind the scenes, but it did really take a lot out of me to even get dressed today.
yeah, I'm familiar with that feeling.
Ah, finally, thank you.
Dishwasher stopped.
I can use this by hand. So that's what's going on with me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, depression just like zaps a lot of energy from me.
Yeah, it does. It does. Now, I'll say here as well, I have not been formally diagnosed with anxiety, depression, any diagnosis that kind of go along with that train of mental health thought. I do, however, very much recognize when I have periods of elevated anxiety or elevated depression. Lower mood. I absolutely recognize that. And in hindsight, I recognize that I spent months struggling with poor mood in 2019. I recognize it because my mood has improved so much more, and I have, like, there was a lot of self-reflection that went on in 2020, and quite a lot of that had to do with my health as a whole. It was both the way that I was kind of treating my mental health as well as my physical being. Fortunately, I didn't need to seek any professional help in that capacity, but I did recognize ways that I could boost my mood, or at least recognize my, you know, depressed mood and kind of bring myself out of that. Because there were periods where my weekends would just be spent at home. I wouldn't want to talk to anyone. I wouldn't want to do anything. And I used to always joke that, like, oh, I don't want to talk to anyone or interact with anyone because I do that as a job. So I do that for 40 hours a week. That's what I get paid for. If I'm not getting paid to interact with people, I'm not doing it. And then in 2020, when shutdown happened and I was kind of stuck at home with my own thoughts, I was like, man, that's not a great way of thinking on that. Like, you should want to spend time with people. You should want to interact with people because it boosts my mood. And I always thought I was a bit of an introvert, but it turns out that was really wrong. Turns out there are like high amounts of extrovert behavior that I have that I kind of just like packed down because I never really was comfortable putting myself out there, dealing with people outside of a professional capacity. So anyway, just more about me.
So on good days, I'll bang out those videos for you guys, okay? Because I have really low periods, followed by high periods.
Yeah.
Of mood.
Not to interrupt, but it is from my understanding, and again, not a mental or physical healthcare professional, but it is my understanding that heightened mood and lowered mood is just the human experience, right? That's not to say that, and we'll probably get into it a little bit later, that's not to say that you have to deal with heightened, elevated mood, depressed mood, that you have to deal with it for weeks, months, years on end and not treat it. But it is the human experience to experience mood that is elevated, mood that is depressed. It's when from my understanding, again, not a professional, it's when those moods begin to impact your life where you can't manage it yourself. That's where, the therapy, treatment, what have you, kind of should be brought into the discussion. There's a really great charity here in Australia called Beyond Blue, and one document that I wanted to put into the links below was a really great booklet that kind of broke down really easily what they recommend in regards to the treatment of depression. And that's down to things like therapy, things like diet, which we'll get into a little bit. And, they even give it so much as a grading scale to say, how heavily has this been investigated? How often is it, suggested as something to treat something like depression? So I'll leave that in the link below because it's a really, really interesting read. So they get into some strange things like, like saffron and cinnamon, because there are kind of, stories about those herbs and or spices that kind of that go hand in hand with mental health. So it's just a really interesting read, and I'd highly recommend you guys to check it out if it's something that interests you. It definitely interested me, and this is why we're reacting to this mukbang, because a discussion about mental health and depression, it should be discussed. Like, it absolutely should be discussed. It should be normalized. We should be able to talk about mental health in a very open forum, which I'm very happy to have that discussion, on this platform. But I didn't know a lot in regards to how diet can impact mental health. And it can. And again, I'll put some links down below.
I'm not really comfortable talking about it, but at the same time, I feel like I have to explain a little bit.
I don't know if explain is the correct word. Like, I wouldn't use that word. Because it sounds more like the pressure. It sounds more like guilt. It kind of sounds like you're justifying or, explaining the situation, as opposed to perhaps a discussion about mental health should be a lot more conversational. It shouldn't be, let me give you an excuse as to why these things aren't happening or why this isn't being done. But instead, again, not a professional, but in terms of language, in terms of discussion, I think that opening those doors as a discussion would be a lot more beneficial than using them as an excuse. That may just be me being pedantic in terms of the language being used here, but that's just my opinion.
What's going on, right, with me? So, yeah. But I'll be all right.
I had to remind myself as well, I understand that she is seeing a dietitian, she is seeing a therapist, so all of those things are happening. Someone did let me know as well that there have been discussions on things like CBT in the past in regards to Foodie's narrative. And I just hope that something stuck. I just hope that she has managed to get a hold of some tools to be able to manage her own mental health, to, you know, to live a better life. Because ultimately, like, we just want everyone to be happy and be healthy. And this mukbang, honestly, it doesn't seem that happy. It just seems kind of sad.
I have very supportive family members.
Good.
And friends who are helping me get through this.
That's good, but cynical Zach here. Hi. Why did we film this? Damn it, cynical Zach, you always ask why. Why did we film this? Because you could have just taken a day off. You could have, and perhaps you should have taken a day off. Perhaps taking a day off would have been more beneficial to just step away from the camera for a day. And like, I feel it sometimes as well. I don't think I create nearly the amount of content that Foodie does. And obviously she has a much larger platform. But some days, if I've had a long day at work, or I just don't feel up to talking, because I do a lot of that, if I don't feel up to it, self-care is sometimes just giving yourself a day. Or just a couple of hours even, just to step away and be like, you know what, I'm going to treat myself, I'm going to look after myself. I'm not feeling the best, I'm going to take a moment. I've spoken before about, you know, anxiety, having had what I think may have been a panic attack at some point. Like, I know what those feelings are, right? Like, I know I get prickly skin, I have trouble breathing, everything starts to like I can feel like everything, every skin prickle, every bead of sweat. I start sweating a lot. Like, I know what my heightened anxiety feels like. And so I know that when that happens, I need to go and sit down. I need to remove myself from the situation. And previously, it has been situations where I'm, you know, sitting with a state or national manager and trying to, like, have a conversation about something. And all of a sudden, like, it's just clammy and, like, I'm a mess. But I have that feeling at home sometimes, too, when I'm just alone with my thoughts. So I know when I get into that position that sometimes I need to just take a break from everything. I just need to go and sit down. I need to make myself a cup of tea. I need to, like, chill. Because quite often when that heightened anxiety will hit me, I'll pace. And whenever I'm on the phone, I do the same thing. I pace. And, like, I can feel, like, you know, little pricks in my skin and sweat. So, and I don't think that's phone anxiety. I think it's just, I've kind of gotten over it, but it was just kind of communication anxiety. Or maybe it was more focused. Anyway, this is way too much about me. I just think, like, why would you make this video? I think that Chantel could have just taken a day, you know? She could have just taken a day off camera. And that may have helped in regards to the discussion that she's having here about depression. It may not have. Maybe she finds it therapeutic to sit on camera. There is an argument kind of to be made to that, because there have obviously been a lot of lives, and it's like, okay, well, maybe it's a discussion about the social interaction. Like, maybe having that interaction with her chat, having that interaction with her commenters allows her to boost her mood a little bit, which is totally understandable. But when your narrative is about the deterioration of your physical health and relying on this style of activity to boost your mental health, when we're talking about non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, when we're talking about pre-diabetic blood sugar levels, when we're talking about all of the ailments, the long list of comorbidities, okay, you can do this thing and maybe it will boost your mental health, but your physical health ultimately is probably not going to be benefiting from a meal like this. And, you know, ultimately you do have to take care of both your mind and your body. You exist in, you know, in two spaces at once. You are your physical mortal shell just as much as you are your mind. So it's a lot.
So, yeah. But I like just coming on here, having a meal with you guys.
Yep.
And talking, you know. when I'm not really much in good mood to do much else.
Again, I'm not harking on too much about this, and I understand this is going to be a long video. It explains the lives a little bit, like the interaction that she has with her chat allows her to kind of not regulate, that's the wrong word, but to boost the mood. I could see that, as a possible, argument to be made. I don't understand why you would film though. Like, is it just a simple example of sitting down, eating on camera elevates your mood? Or is it the food that is elevating your mood? Is it the idea that you're creating content that's going to be monetized? Is that what's elevating your mood? I have a lot of questions, and I very much welcome the discussion in the comments below in regards to people's own lived experiences or their own professional capacities. This is just me having a chat. Right. Anyway.
I don't taste any seasoning on the fish, so I'm not sure why it's Cajun. I don't know if the seasoning's on there just lightly, or if they forgot to put it on, or I don't know if it's the same as the US. Probably not.
It's like paprika,
Just
chili,
like our chicken sandwiches weren't the same, but
oregano.
we did eventually get the chicken sandwich that you guys had in the US.
That's right.
So I'm assuming at some point the real Cajun fish that you guys have will trickle down. I'll call it the real one. I don't know why. This is still good.
Okay.
Have I had better fried fish? Yeah. Not gonna lie.
I mean, it's fast food.
But
It's takeout. Is it ever going to be great? I don't know. Maybe not for me, but
Popeyes
again,
has some banging
food is subjective.
chicken strips or chicken tenders, chicken strips, chicken tenders. They're really good. Lemonade and iced tea are just so refreshing.
Water's pretty good. I like water.
What do you guys like from Popeyes? Yeah, they're chicken strips with the black and ranch. I'm
Never
gonna save
had
the ranch,
it.
I guess.
Never had it. I just remember the, what was it? The chicken sandwich when that was all happening. Was that 2019? I think that news even made it over here. So that kind of made me want to try one just out of curiosity, but never had it. So can't
Can
say.
eat it with other things.
Can't say. I can say that
Their mashed potatoes taste instant.
it's all very beige.
But I don't
None
know.
of this makes me
the
want to
instant
try
mashed
it.
potato taste. I prefer the taste of real mashed potatoes, but I don't mind the instant.
Also, just realizing she didn't finish the dessert before the main. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, half the dessert, then ate the main, then back to the dessert. It's very confusing. I would finish one. That's just me.
On like a whole box of those Betty Crocker. Betty Crocker.
I did find
Betty
that funny.
Crocker. Instant mashed potatoes. The urban butter or something.
I'm unfamiliar. I've never tried Betty Crocker.
It's so good.
Does she make crackers? Betty Crocker crackers?
Mashed potatoes are just such a comfort food. Mashed potatoes and gravy.
She literally just had a side of mashed potatoes and gravy. Like, there just seems to not be any, like, recognition of the fact that she's talking about food that she has already consumed. Yeah, you could just say, like, mashed potatoes and gravy, comfort food. It was really good. It just seems like the thought isn't... And this is... Ultimately, I think that this comes down to, like, awareness and just mindfulness. That's the word I'm trying to find. Like, I learned, again, if you're new to the channel, hi, welcome. I learned quite early on that I needed to be more mindful about the calories that I was putting in my face. Because not only was I not mindful of just how many calories I was actually consuming, but I wasn't mindful of the experience of sitting down and eating something that I had made with my own hands. There is a level of positivity and fulfillment that I felt in something as simple as cooking a piece of chicken and making up some vegetables, that I never really connected to cooking outside of, almost making myself more aware of the food that I was eating. This is kind of the opposite of that. This is like consuming the food while thinking of other potentially, better or more palatable or more interesting foods. And you catch it every now and then in the mukbangs. And I don't know what that is. Again, conversational tone, not a mental or physical healthcare professional, but will gladly, gladly kind of accept people's lived experiences down in the comments below for trying to understand what that is. It's interesting, is what it is. All right.
Love having a garbage can right there, just like, psh.
Yeah, you don't have to get up or anything.
It's almost the end of February. Please. I hope winter's almost over. It's like, we just had a big snowfall. Oh, wow, yeah. My patio.
Oh, yeah. I hope everyone who's in, is it Texas and Georgia that has been having the really big snowstorms? Hope you're all staying safe as much as possible, keeping warm, keeping each other safe. Our summer over here has been very mild, so we've had a lot of rain over the last couple of days, but it's been pretty, there's definitely no major heat waves, which is good, but yeah. I just saw that in the news today and thought I'd mention.
It has a lot of snow. It's almost as if, like, winter has, like, one last snow tantrum. I'm hoping this is it. People in states like Texas, California getting snow, and they're freaking out, and there's like a power outage crisis, so I really hope that you guys are okay. I think it's in Texas, right? But it's just like completely, these states are obviously completely unprepared for snow because it's not usual, So it is kind of weird.
Yeah, weather's like that.
I guess that's it.
Ever changing.
I guess that's it for now. I just wanted to have a quick dinner with you guys. And as for the time warp, like I said, when I'm having an up day, I'll try to bang out those videos for you guys, the ones that require more energy to do. So,
I mean, I think that, like, talking about energy levels, I think is pretty subjective, so I don't really know if I have too much to say on that. But, like, I don't know, the way that, like, this time warp is kind of being talked up, I'm expecting, like, a high energy, like, song and dance almost. I don't think we'll get that. If it's, like, it's whatever. Create the content that you want, whatever. Clearly, the eating on camera will continue. It looks like the fast food will continue. The intuitive eating will continue. Sure. Just like, I hope you're happy and you're healthy, Chantel, because,
All right. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
Okay, so ultimately, that was a mukbang. We spoke about mood, which was concerning. I don't know. There was just something about that mukbang that didn't sit right with me. And it is I guess it's just a discussion on how you manage your mood, how you can take the tools in your toolbox and basically look after yourself, right? And we talk a lot about the physical health and the deterioration of that in these reactions, but the mental health, I never really feel super confident in talking about. But I think this was a good format to do it in a more discussionary tone with a little bit of, research on the side for me. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. Thank you all so much for your comments and eyeballs. And I'll see you in the discussions below. And I will see you also in the next video and or live stream. Bye!